Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about power rule for integration. So in this video, I'll show you how to do the power rule, how it works. We'll do some examples, and then I'll show you a situation where you cannot use it as well. So let's go ahead and get into it. So power rule, the general form is if you have integral of x to n can be any number, it's just a constant or honestly anything. Dx, then to solve this, we get x n plus 1 over n plus 1 and plus c because it's an indefinite integral. Indefinite integral means there are no values here. There are no bounds. If there were bounds, you don't need your plus c, but because it's just an indefinite integral, always write your plus c. And so that's it. That's the entire power rule. If you have an exponent to the n, you just add 1 to that exponent and then divide everything by n plus 1. Now, there is one kind of note I want to say. This works for when n does not equal minus 1. Because if I was to put minus 1 into here, that would just be 0 in the denominator, and that is an indefinite integral, and we cannot have that. But that right there is the general form. So let's go ahead and get into some examples. So we have example 1. We have integral of x to the 4 dx. So our n in this situation is 4. So what this is going to look like is this is going to be integral, or sorry, this is going to be x 4 plus 1 over 4 plus 1 plus c. So that what that actually ends up being is x to the 5th over 5. It's supposed to be a 5 plus c. And there you go. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. Again, pair the exponent to your n and just do n plus 1 over n plus 1. And then add the plus c. Example 2, we have now 6x squared dx. So don't fret. Remember, we can always take a constant value outside of the integral. So we can rewrite this as 6 integral x squared dx. And now we just focus on this part right here. So our n would be 2. So we have x 2 plus 1 over 2 plus 1. Don't forget your 6 out in front, plus c. So what this ends up being is 6 x to the cubed over 3 plus c, and we can simplify that down to be 2x cubed plus c. And that is our answer. So whenever you have a constant, take it out in front because that is an integration rule, and then solve the power rule as normal. But don't forget to multiply that constant back in, and you were able to, most of the time, simplify it down even further. Let's do one more example. We have integral of x to the negative 3. So the power rule works with negative exponents too. So let's just solve it as normal. So we have x minus 3 plus 1 over minus 3 plus 1. This is just going to be, plus c. Don't forget your plus c, guys. This is going to be x to the negative 2 over negative 2 plus c. And that just simplifies down to negative 1/2 x squared. And the x squared is on the bottom because of that negative 2 exponent, plus c. And there you go. As you can see, the power rule is fairly simple. It works super nice and easy. This is the first technique you should always try to do whenever you see an integration problem. However, I do want to reiterate the exception. Whenever you see x to the minus 1 dx, which is equivalent to 1 over x dx, this you cannot use power rule for, because once again, this will just end up being x minus 1 plus 1 over minus 1 plus 1 plus c, and this is just equal to x to the 0 over 0. And because this is undefined, we have to use a different technique, integration technique, to solve. So go ahead, check out my next video to see how to do that. But otherwise, that is how you do power rule problems. Hope that helps. See you next time.